Hey guys, still here and welcome to World of Warships. That's not something I say very often on this channel, as I do play World of Warships myself, but I generally don't cover the games that I play. This one, however, I do want to cover because it was quite fun, and I have recently reset the French DD. I just wanted to try it again, and well, I really like the French DD line in general. In case you don't know about the French destroyers, these things are really quick. They are capable of getting up to high speeds, but they pay for that in having very little anti-air, no smoke screens, and a pretty high concealment base rating, which means that this DD, the Guépard, gets detected at a range of 6.8. Now in this match there are no there's no caps, as you can see, and with that there's not really any need for me to capture any particular area, nor to be operating in any particular area. So instead I decide that I want to be flanking. I have a couple of ships behind me in the form of the Bretagne, the Congo and the Auba. And, well, there are some destroyers ahead. I just don't know exactly which one. So it's going to be pretty important for me to scout out first. And while I can go very quick with this ship using the speed boost, the engine boost, right now I'm just holding it. I'm just trying to not rush into the enemy, which is what you see some of these things doing very quickly. Just rush into their death at absolutely no point. Speed is a great method to get yourself out of trouble, but it can also be a fantastic way of getting yourself into trouble. So instead of moving towards the enemy, I'm moving a bit laterally. I'm moving sideways and using the RPF, the radio position finding. I'm trying to figure out where the enemy is and just sending torpedoes in that general direction. Now, as it turns out, I'm not the only destroyer at this current tier which has pretty poor detection radius. There is another DD over there in the form of the Icarus. The Icarus spots me a little bit before I spot it, and it immediately smokes up. Now, I could be rushing in, but I don't know what's behind that smoke screen. If there's a cruiser or a battleship or something else hiding in there, I won't know. So instead of rushing in, I'm turning away. I'm keeping my distance, and I'm just curious to see if the torpedoes are going to be doing anything, although I really don't expect those to hit. All the more because the British DDs, the British destroyers, have hydro. They will see them coming. So that DD is probably going to survive, and for the moment that's alright. It doesn't really have anything to capture. It can be spotting my ships, but, well, at this tier the ships really aren't that accurate. They do have the range, as you can see, and, well, so does mine. I also have the range to fire at the battleship. Unfortunately, the fire starting capability I've found at the Guépard is not great. But I'm also firing just to see if I'm already getting detected, and I am. The Icarus only has a short duration smokescreen, and it has already dissipated, so the Icarus is fully spotting, but so is the Ismail that I'm firing at. So the Ismail is spotting me, which means that it's trying to also return fire, and I don't mind that. I would rather they try to shoot me and do very little damage, because they might not even hit me, than that they actually do damage to the almost broadside Congo and Bretagne that I have on my stern. Now, I ran a little bit too far north here, as I'm running into the map edge. That's going to cost me a bunch of speed, so trying to turn around, trying to get the ship back onto the direction where I want to travel. Unfortunately, the shells that were intended for me just splash around. Viggen 3, which is the Auba, is pinging where the Icarus is probably going to be. And that's, well, it's not really where I want to go. I'm keeping a very close eye on what the Nuremberg is doing. That's a fast-firing cruiser, and I consider that currently to be the biggest threat to myself. I'm holding fire, and I know the Icarus is beyond 6.8 kilometers because I'm not getting detected. Once again, the Icarus smokes up because it's been detected. I'm not exactly sure how it got detected, but, well, it did, and now it's in trouble. Because it's coming under attack from the torpedo bombers from our carrier, and at the same time it's being fired at by the Congo, the Bretagne and the Auba, if they can get eyes on it. So instead, I decide to head further to the east, to try and land torpedoes against the Ismail. Turns out that that battleship is almost stationary. Now, my detection radius is 6.8 kilometers, but my torpedoes have a range of 8, if I'm not mistaken. So this thing is just inside the torpedo range. And unfortunately, as I was hoping that it would remain steady as the Congo and the Bretagne continue to push in on it, it decides to accelerate. Mistake. So instead of trying to get my torpedoes landed against the Ismail, I just decide to maybe open up on it and potentially go for the target that's behind it, in the form of the Nuremberg. Because my chances of setting this Ismail on fire aren't great anyway. I did fire at it a bit, trying to get it to turn and maybe turn into my torpedoes, but that ship has sailed. And even AP is not very effective against this ship at this range. The Nuremberg, however, can very much be subjected to some armor-piercing firepower, and with its, well, not complete lack of armor, but serious deficit in the armor department, in the art department? I'm sorry, in the armor department, it is quite capable of getting seriously damaged. So, one salvo flies in, another salvo even citadels at a range of 10 kilometers. And you can see me just skirting the cap, and mostly just to stay at range from the Nuremberg, because if that thing decides to return fire, I could pretty quickly start losing health. In the meanwhile, Alba, Congo and Bretagne, I hope, are working over the Ismail, while I'm still trying to push that Nuremberg out of position, either force it to go broadside to one of my battleships, or just to get killed off by myself. Now, I was hoping to hunt down the enemy aircraft carrier, the German Weser that they have, but it turns out that it's all the way on the other side of the map. It's all the way down here in J9, so it's very far away from my position. But for some reason or another, the enemy battleships, at least the New Mexico and the Iron Duke over here, they've decided to push through the 8 line. It's like they're taking cover here. I'm not exactly sure from or / against what, because there really aren't that many torpedo boats, at least not anymore. Sure enough, the Hatsuharu from our team is still alive, and it might be working over the New York and the Congo, but it's not that serious. Time to take out the Icarus. A couple of shells flying in. The ship is on fire. I slightly juke that salvo, and there we go. Ship down. And then I spot the full health Iron Duke, which has her guns pointing to her port side, which is away from me. Now, I decided not to cease fire just yet, and I wanted to see if I was getting spotted from something else, and I wasn't. So, hoping to put the New Mexico on fire, I continue to shoot at it until I lose line of sight. And that's when I decide to go dark, looking to get an ambush run in on the Iron Duke. The Iron Duke, however, seems to be slowing down, and I could launch the torpedoes now, but I think I might need all of them just to get that Iron Duke killed off. So, time to rush in. Speed boost is on cooldown, so I don't have to rely on that. I do have to rely on my anti-air a bit, as the Weser is coming in. And by turning the ship just at the last moment, I evade some of the rockets, but that aircraft carrier is going to be continuing to spot me. The Iron Duke, however, does not have a very good turret rotation. It's going to be difficult for them to get the turrets on target. Now, it's still not being detected, except by my RPF, my radio position finding. So it's time to rush on and try to get the Iron Duke from very close range. Still being spotted, and the Iron Duke, I don't know, it seems to be oblivious to my position. I'm currently 1 click out. Torpedo 1 set away. Second set away. 3 slam into the ship. And another 3, and that's a devastating strike, as the entirety of the Iron Duke loses the hit points. Once again, under plane attack, and once again continuing to try to sink the New Mexico. I do have to do some evasive maneuvering though, as I almost sailed into the island right there. Opening up again against the New Mexico, hoping to burn her down before she gets her heel off. But I slide too far behind the island, and I'm unable to still land shots on that ship. But there are others still alive. Especially, there is a Hatsuharu that I want to kill. Not only because the DD is a very threatening target to the aircraft carrier and the Königsberg as it gets closer, but also because the hit point system, or rather the XP system, in this game works on the amount of percentage hit points that you kill. So, killing a DD, which means reducing a ship from 100 hit points, or from, let's say, 100% hit points to none, is as valuable as doing that to a battleship, but for a battleship it just takes a hell of a lot longer. So instead, I was hoping to get the Hatsuharu, but it just decided to smoke up, leaving me unable to try and track it down. Speed boost is once again running, also allows me to slow down faster, and it is now the New York who's getting subjected to the high explosive treatment. This ship unfortunately also refuses to burn, so the high explosive is just doing a little bit of damage, and somebody else puts it on fire, which means it's slowly but steadily losing hit points. I'm still hunting down the Hatsuharu, but without a main reload booster. I already used that. I think I used that against a battleship, hoping to quickly land a few shots at it, but that was pretty poor timing, as I really shouldn't have been firing at that ship. I should have waited, and I should have used it on the Hatsuharu. The Hatsuharu is taking shots at the aircraft carrier. Now, I am definitely not a fan of aircraft carriers, but my CV is helpful in spotting the enemy. So I do want to keep it alive, and that means that the Hatsuharu has to go. The Ryujo, the aircraft carrier, also recognizes the threat, launching rocket planes, and those guys can be pretty damn deadly to the Hatsuharu. They're trying to fly in. I'm still trying to land shots, but the turret rotation speed on the Guépard is not that good. And at the same time, I'm sort of finding my own speed, trying not to get away too fast. Almost down, and it's the secondaries, of all things, the secondary armament from the carrier that takes it down. At this point, I have a bit of beef with the Exeter. I have 8,000 hit points, and he has 29,000, so I am definitely not going to win this fight just based on hit points. That means I'm going to have to use something else. And I have something else right ready for him, and that's torpedoes. Now the Exeter has 4 guns on the bow. It has torpedoes, and I'd really rather not get subjected to those. And luckily, I managed to shut them down using high explosives. Launch 1 salvo. I keep the other 1 salvo in spare. And fortunately, the aircraft carrier is also helping me. So I'm trying to get close to the ship, hoping that the Exeter cannot launch her torpedoes. I launch mine, they land, and the Exeter is no more. At this point though, I am still very much the subject of attention of the enemy aircraft carrier. And whereas I should have tried probably to get away, I instead decide to push in deeper, and that's my mistake. Because now the New Mexico is also firing at me with high explosive. I'm on fire, and I can put that out in the next 2 seconds. But the problem is, the CV is continuing to harass me. So I'm down to 1187 hit points. Once again, I continue to fire, this time at the aircraft carrier, but I'm not leading my shots properly. And the aircraft carrier with a rocket attack planes flies in one last time. 1187 hit points is just not enough. But fortunately, the team is able to cap the enemy base. Our Bretagne has been there for quite a while. I'm not sure if it still has the range, but at least it was capable of capping. And that had led me, or rather the team, to a successful battle. And these are the results. Post-battle result screens, with flags of course, did look like this. 470,000 credits received, quite a nice amount of XP, and due to most flags, 8,183 free experience. 104,619 damage, mostly done with the torpedoes against Iron Duke and Exeter. Although the AP shells against Nuremberg also left quite a mark for 13,000 damage. And then dealing a bit of damage to both the Hatsuharu and Icarus definitely helps with getting experience. Damage against aircraft, 7,396, nothing too special. I only shot down 7 aircraft. So yeah, the anti-air on this ship is not that good, but then again, you don't really rely on that. It is a balancing factor, I think, to try and not make these ships too powerful. Overall, lots and lots of commander XP from that one, because I was running a few dragon flags, and that got me almost 28,000 commander XP. So, quick battle, quick boats, and I really enjoy the playstyle. Let me know if you like these videos on World of Warships. I mean, I think they gel well with the Ultimate Admiral Dreadnought stuff, albeit far more, let's say, arcadey than Ultimate Admiral. If you want to see more of this, then let me know. And if you haven't tried World of Warships and if you want to dip your toes into the water, so to say, try the link down below in the description, as you'll be getting some goodies. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall catch you guys soon for another video.